What is up, guys, and welcome to the Meeple Minded podcast, the podcast where we talk all things tabletop gaming. My name is Jason.
And I'm James.
And I'm Ant.
How you doing, Ant?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
He's back again.
Back once again.
I didn't think I was going to get you on another episode this year.
Just literally before the end of the year, mate.
I know. We squeezed another one in. It's good to have you, sir. How have you been?
All good, mate. Thanks for having me back.
Good. I'm glad to hear you've been good. Have you had a good week? Or a couple of weeks this year?
Couple of weeks was the last time I saw you guys.
Nice. So good times. Any good games played in that time?
Apart from what we played last week, I played another game, which I'm not going to say yet because we might do it soon.
We will.
So...
Yeah. Shh. No spoilers. James, how are you?
What are you plotting?
Nothing. Ain't nothing being plotted here. How have you been, sir? How's your week?
I'm good. You know, same old.
Yeah, been up to much?
Work.
Got a car yet?
No,
Why not?
because Christmas hasn't passed yet.
Yeah, well, Christmas doesn't matter. You're not going to get one for Christmas. So.
No, I know I'm not going to get one for Christmas, but I have other things to spend money on before Christmas. It's after Christmas, Jason. After Christmas.
That's the thing. I always remember, like, when you're a teenager and you're just, I really hope I get a car for Christmas. Really hope I get a car for... Why? Why are you asking for such an expensive item? You selfish person. Did you get a car for Christmas then?
Never had a car for Christmas.
Me
I have to
neither.
say. I don't think I've ever asked for one. Maybe a toy car, but that's about it.
I've got a toy car, without a doubt. And that was like the best.
Could you imagine if you asked for a toy car, you actually got a real car and you're only like 8 years old? Thanks, Dad.
The first time an eBay auction worked out.
Christ, could you imagine? That'd be so funny.
I thought I bought a toy car, but this big thing turned.
1-for-1 replica.
Oh dear.
Oh, see, that's ironic because my dad did something like that when he first got with my mum. She always wanted a Porsche, so he bought her a dinky toy.
Has he done the reverse?
Yeah.
Nice.
I think.
And she can't say she's never got one.
Yeah, that's like, I you know what? I bought you what you wanted. You always wanted a Porsche. I bought you a Porsche in 1/18th scale.
Most ladies say size, doesn't matter.
To be fair, my partner did the same when I had to get rid of my RX-8, and I was a bit down in the dumps about it. Love that car and all that kind of stuff. And she ended up buying me a replica of that, which I still have. Just for I now have 3 replicas because I still love that car.
Is that 3 cars? Nice one, mate.
But there you go. Yeah, I would love that car again. I'd love a car again. It's been really weird not having a car. But yeah, this isn't Tabletop Car Talk. We're here to talk about games.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, James, it's been a slow couple of weeks for you, hasn't it?
It has been a slow couple of weeks.
Oh dear. What's been going on? Why is there no gaming going on?
Just life.
Life is it's just a bit too much at the moment.
It is.
Yeah.
But we are going to remedy that.
Yeah, I mean, we've been playing one particular game, obviously, which we're going to be talking about in a minute. But Ant, have you been playing anything else other than the game that we're going to be talking about in about 5 minutes?
Not really, no.
Oh, dear.
Pretty much the same situation, James. Again, it's coming up to Christmas and everyone's just taking the time to sort that out before they can actually do some stuff with games and whatnot. So,
yeah, I mean,
been trying to fit in some stuff. I like I said, I have played something, but I'm going to try and surprise you guys for over the next couple of weeks, maybe, and see if you guys will give it a go.
Okay.
And maybe do an episode of it next year. Who knows?
Oh, okay. Now I'm very interested.
So I have obtained a new one. I've not played it yet. So
have you done a post about it?
No.
Oh, he's really being snide.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, I don't like this.
Yeah, now you know how it feels.
No, it doesn't work like that. It's not.
Doesn't like it when it's done to him, does he?
No,
James?
he doesn't.
Well, I went along to a game day on Sunday. Managed to play a fair few games.
Nice.
Most of these you guys have played in the past, so you can chime in a bit if you like. First one, Jet, and you're going to really like. I actually purchased and then taught Challengers.
Yeah, all right. Another one for the Challenger team.
Yeah, definitely. James, you've also played Challengers.
I have.
What are your thoughts on Challengers?
Challenges. Very fun.
Yes. Do you remember much about it? Because it was a fair while ago you played.
I do. I remember that the AI players are real.
So-and-so.
Yes.
Such and such.
So robot so-and-so.
Yes.
Yes. Ant, you're a huge fan of
I love this
Challengers.
game, man.
Yeah.
The simplicity of it is just... Everyone can play this game, dude. My daughter even loves playing this game. So it's just so much, so easy. You know, 1 to 8 players, even if you don't want to play with anyone else, you just solo play the game for crying out loud.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
You know?
I mean, that was actually the main reason I purchased it. Was I was like, do you know what? I think my son would cope with this, and it was a good price. So I was like, do you know what? I'll pick it up.
Nice, mate.
I also there was a charity raffle thing on the day as well, which I bought into. There was loads of games that came from that, but I managed to get myself a mug.
Nice.
Which was fun. Yeah, a nice Meeple mug.
Nice.
Made by Meeples, which is ironically
Actual Meeples. A mug actually made by Meeples.
It's the brand made by Meeples, which ironically is Paul's brand.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I managed to end up with one of Paul's mugs.
Nice.
But it's lovely. It's over there, actually. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Yeah. I'm just trying to picture a mug actually made entirely out of Meeples. That would be quite cool.
It would actually be.
I don't know how it would work, but it's a thing.
I suppose because they'd all be held together with like epoxy resin or something.
Yeah, it had to be. It would have to be, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I'd like to see that. I might get my crafty partner to do that. I mean, she's good at crafts, not that she's crafty. You know? I mean, both really.
Quickly,
Those crafty partners.
Yeah, dig yourself out that hole.
Yep, indeed. Another game I managed to teach on Sunday was Inish.
Nice. I haven't played that in a while.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't have my copy with me. It was actually their copy that they purchased about 2 months ago.
That's one I'd like to go back to.
It. I'd love to.
I'd like to go back
well,
to
yeah, because we need to do Seasons of Inish.
Now that I've got it. And I've had that for what?
Yeah.
I think that was about 2 months.
Yeah,
ago,
that's been on the pile of shame for a while.
Yeah. In fact, I know when I bought that because I bought it the same day he got his base game. So yeah,
we'll make it happen.
I finally got to teach it. We played it 2-player, which was interesting because normally I don't play that game 2-player, but I really managed to teach him well. He managed to scupper my plans quite a bit. But then I was hiding in the background, working on lots of things, and then went from being what I would deem as not in any way contentious to the win to winning in 1 round. So,
what's your preferred player count on it then?
3 or 4.
Okay,
3 or 4. I'm told the expansion adds a 5th player.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna get. I would say that's probably going to clutter up the board a bit too much for me. 2-player, there isn't really enough going on. The board doesn't really get big enough. But yeah, 3 and 4-player, I think is a nice little sweet spot. Especially if you've got 2 polarizing players in a 2-player game. Like I'm a very dominant player, for example, whereas he could be a sort of a bit more subdued player. He's never going to stand a chance against a dominant player who's just going to come in and keep bashing the hell out of whatever the hell he's made.
Yeah.
So I do think that if you've got more players, there's a bit more spread of where I can go on the board and what I should do. But yeah, Inish, James, your thoughts on Inish?
I mean, it's been a while since we played it, but yeah, I like the multiple paths to victory.
Yep.
I love the modular board, effectively, I love the way that the board expands out as those sort of jigsaw pieces.
Yes.
I really like that mechanic.
Yeah. Yeah, you just need... I think there needs to be more cards in there that brings those out, though.
Yes.
That's the one complaint I have about that. But yeah, it's been a while for you, Ant.
Yeah, this is the one that's a rule of 6, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I remember, some of the artwork on those cards, man.
Oh, stunning.
Absolutely stunning. But no, I really enjoyed it. Again, it was one that had to be on the list to be done, and I finally got to play with you guys, but I would love to play that again anytime soon. I would never say no to that.
I think we will end up getting that to the table again because I really enjoy playing that. And finally, I think we'll talk about I managed to get a game of Skull.
Nice.
To the table.
Yeah, cracky little game, that.
Which again, there was a couple of new people in the venue, and I was just like, we need to do something simple. Let's do this, and that's what we did.
Nice.
So Skull. For
How many players did you do that?
3. I think it was. Yeah, 3 players. How did you find?
I love Skulls. Skulls is one of those games that was one of the first games that got me into board games, like quick and easy, travel little game. I again, the more numbers you've got for that, the game gets so much better. That one, but yeah, count me in with Skulls any day of the week, mate. I love that game.
I've always loved it, but I think the first time I played it was actually at a pub, and it's only now that I look back and go, what a stupid idea. Playing in a pub with a game that basically looks
a bunch of
like
coasters,
beer mats. Nah, No. That game's staying at home when I do that at the pub.
Someone's going to use that as an actual coaster.
Yeah. But, James, it's been a while since you played Skull.
Yes.
I can't remember if you enjoyed it or not.
I think I did. Is that the one where you got to basically you're bluffing about how many you've got?
Bluffing game.
Yeah, how many flowers you can spot, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I enjoyed it when we played it.
Yeah, good. Again, I think it's quite a nice, simple, easy, quick game to play.
Yeah.
10 minutes, 15 minutes at most with a higher player count, I think. But yeah, I like Skull. Would definitely play it more. It's one of those that I think will always be in the collection because it's a small box and I just can't really see why I would get rid of it. Because it's
as I say, if you
not
get
like
groups
it's
of
worth loads of money or anything like that.
No.
So it's worth there. It's not taking up a lot of space.
Exactly.
I like Skull. I think I'll leave it there for that one. And we can go on to talking about our main event, if you like. Because that is a game that we have all been playing a lot recently. Hence why we're able to talk about it. We have been playing Masters of the Universe Clash for Eternia.
Yeah, buddy.
Are you looking forward to talking about this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
James, let's do it. Okie dokie, guys. So first thing, before we start talking about Masters of the Universe Clash for Eternia, I want to ask both of you a very quick question. First off, Anthony, are you a fan of Masters of the Universe?
No, can't stand it.
James?
No, it's horrible.
No, I mean, me neither. So.
Of course, man. It's He-Man for crying out loud.
We all grew up with this stuff,
100%.
right? We all grew up with it. Did you enjoy the remake that they did on Netflix?
Yes. We were talking about this just before the episode. I didn't at first, but having them rewatch again, I actually do appreciate it more the second time around.
Yeah. I think the first time I watched the first season, I was a bit unsure, but yeah, I did really like it on reflection of it. James?
Yeah, I was the same. I don't understand the heat it gets.
No, me neither. But we both got quite excited at the timing of us deciding to talk about this because you sent me the announcement trailer for season 3.
Yes.
Whoop, whoop.
Of Revelations the other day. So, and we watched the trailer just before.
It looks epic, man. I can't wait.
It does. It really does. I think they're going to really push the boat out on this season. So, obviously, the game we're talking about actually came out earlier on in the year, but only in the US, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's only a US license at the time of recording this, anyway.
Yeah, but to go along with that new season, Call Me or Not have announced that this is going to be going on to GameFound for a second print run, but will also be available worldwide.
Worldwide, baby, yeah.
So before that, we only had access to Fields of Eternia.
We did, yep.
Which is the Archon version.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like this game in any way, shape, or form. Totally different type of game. So,
which is a good thing because if it was a carbon copy, then no one would go with either, really, would they?
Exactly. So, yeah. We haven't played Fields of Eternia yet, but we have played this plenty. So
I have.
Oh,
I played Fields of Eternia.
Okay, so you
only the once though.
You might actually be able to give us a couple of pointers as to differences in the game, but we'll see how that goes a bit later on. So, Masters of the Universe Clash for Eternia, or if you're going to do the full name, it's Masters of the Universe, the board game, Clash for Eternia.
It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it?
It's a bit of a mouthful. So, here on out, Masters of the Universe.
Not He-Man Master of the Universe.
It's not He-Man.
Master of the Universe.
No. So, no, we'll keep it Clash for Eternia here.
just Clash for Eternia.
Clash for Eternia is a 1 versus all scenario-based skirmish game for 1 to 5 players, age 14 and up, released by the big CMON, Call Me or Not, Come On, whatever you want to call them, in 2023, with an estimated playtime of 60 minutes. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to laugh saying that.
There's no way it's 60 minutes.
More on that later. In Clash for Eternia, players become one of or multiple characters of the well-known fantasy TV series of the same name as they battle it out for control of Eternia. The various scenarios set the scene, but the basic gist of the game consists of performing 2 actions to beat down opponents, claim objectives, perform overpowered actions in the name of Castle Grayskull, all while wearing a pair of furry pants. Providing,
wait, you know what I wanted to say that, haven't you?
Providing, of course, that you are playing as He-Man. But that is a rough idea of what the hell the game's about. James,
oh my God.
Take a big breath.
I've never even noticed that. He does wear furry pants.
Yeah. Take a big breath. What comes in the box when you buy Masters of the Universe Clash for Eternia?
Right, Jason. Contained within the box is 1 game board, 13 double-sided overlays, 1 tracker board, 4 player dashboards, 1 controller dashboard, 6 heroic warrior figures, 6 evil warrior figures, 2 heroic elite minions, 2 evil elite minions, 8 heroic minions and 8 evil minions, various tokens of different kinds, 4 controller skill cards, 50 power cubes, 12 dice, 16 AI cards, 11 terrain and NPC cards, 5 player aid cards, 12 strategy cards, 12 AI character cards, 4 minion cards, 36 double-sided skill cards, 14 double-sided player/controller character cards, 38 activation cards.
I think he cheated a bit there.
He did cheat there.
He cheated a bit there. Oh, I don't know about that.
Look at all those tokens you left out there, James.
Various assorted tokens.
Oh, I was looking forward to going for like a curry and all sorts while you were doing that.
In all fairness, folks, it's 13 different types of tokens, so you can understand why it was cut.
I took one look at that contents list and went, CMON.
I mean,
But that's a bang for your buck in a box, mate.
straight off the bat here, call mini or not, that's the base box, just for the record. We're not talking about any kind of expansions included there. That is base box, which I'm guessing... Do you know if this went to retail in the States?
That's how I got it.
Okay,
People thought I got it from eBay, but I didn't. I know someone in the States who sent it to me.
Cool. So, this is obviously the retail version for those of you currently in the States. You can actually get this right now. If you're in the UK, no.
I mean, the issue with this game is that you can try and order it online, but when you go to the postage part, it will say straight away, can't do it for this country.
Of course.
Which is annoying. So
unless you've got friends in the States who can then send it over to you, which is not nefarious in
No, of course not.
Let's talk about the components. First off, there's a lot there to talk about.
Yeah.
Anthony, it's your game. Would you like to highlight anything that you either really, really like or dislike or both?
Not really. Like I said, this is very standard for a CMON game. The issue is what I remember from the previous He-Man game is that their minis are better than this version.
Okay, yeah.
More sturdier as well, more thicker than these ones here. Nothing against what's given in this box, consider it CMON.
Yeah.
But the other ones in Fields of Eternia are slightly better than this version.
Oh, okay, so the Archon ones are actually more substantial.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Apart from the obviously nostalgic artwork you've got from the actual characters, the colours on them and whatnot. Apart from that, I mean, the board itself isn't very, it's not very out there. Again, compared to, I keep comparing it to Fields of Eternia because their board is phenomenal. It's like each part of Eternia is on there, whereas this is literally just a battlefield. So it's like boring beige all over it, which is a bit of a shame. But apart from that, like I said, you've got the controller boards and the dashboards are very zombie side looking as well. Not as much, but no. It's pretty much I can say about it.
A couple of people, like components wise, have compared it to zombie side. Obviously, you did yourself there, and you've got that sort of nice plastic tray where you've got your character card.
That's it.
Which is postcard size ish, roughly. It's maybe a bit smaller. Then you've got a couple of, I think it's 3 side slots for like mini American cards or whatever they are. For your upgrades and stuff, and then a couple of slots for your power stuff like that. They're really nicely designed. They keep everything nice and compact, stops everything falling all over the board. I do like those. The minis themselves, I mean, I'm just going to mention the sculpts on these are absolutely stunning. I really like the sculpts personally. As someone who owns Fields of Eternia, I've not played it, but the sculpts on that are also very nice, but I think I slightly prefer the sculpts from Call Mini or Not on this one. The plastic on those minis, I will say, from previous games I've played or owned of Call Mini or Not, I feel like the plastic used in this is slightly better.
Okay.
Because I always had a bit of a problem with their plastics being a bit soft.
Okay, yeah.
Whereas this doesn't feel that way at all. But I mean, the last highlight I really want to talk about for me is the artwork. Because this is classic artwork style.
Yeah.
I'm sort of talking, bringing me back to like Hero Quest, the original Hero Quest type of art. Yeah. Yeah, you've got that sort of dark effect, but also the bright colours of, the bright popping green of Battle Cat and stuff like that. Yeah. It's very, very vibrant. That's where I feel the theme comes through with regards to Eternia.
Sure.
Because I do agree with you with the board. It looks like a dust pit.
Yeah. It's like it's literally just a battlefield, isn't it?
I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't have known that was Eternia.
Even with the terrain added to it, it still doesn't add enough to a board personally. But But yeah, I see where you're coming from on it.
Yeah. James, what about you? What's your opinions on the components within the game?
Overall, yeah. I mean, I do kind of agree with you guys on the base board being a little bit bland, but I like the modular aspect of it, that it's got that hex pattern on it.
Yeah.
And then you add the terrain, like all the different scenarios will tell you how to set the terrain up on top of that.
Yeah.
And I think and that aspect of it makes it a very compact game for the sheer amount of scenarios, because there's a lot of scenarios to play out. This game has a ton of replayability on it.
Yeah.
And each scenario, like you said, James, you can be the good or bad guy in it as well. So you can do the same thing twice if you wanted to. Yeah.
In different ways. Obviously, the more expansions you add in, which we're not talking about today, but the more expansions you get, the more replayability you get. But just in the base box, there's a ton of replayability.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that this is coming to GameFound for a second print run, I do want to mention one particular expansion, which is the one that we played the other day, where you actually have the big Castle Grayskull.
Assault on Castle Grayskull, yeah.
Assault on Castle Grayskull, where you've got the 3D Grayskull. It looks impressive. I'm going to say that. It does look impressive. However, we both commented when we were doing the setup of that how very toy-like
it really is. Yeah. It took me back to like yesteryear when I was like, do you know what? I want to open up and see if there's any rooms inside or whatnot. Which you can't, by the way. It's literally just a block.
Yeah, I mean, I said the same, didn't I? I was like, it looks like I could pop it open and start playing Polly Pocket.
Yeah,
inside. You know what I mean?
How cool would that have been, though? Right? Come on, CMON.
That was a bit of a letdown because it was just like you've got these beautifully sculpted miniatures and then this toy looking bit of scenery. And while it looked impressive on the board, it was you started putting the miniatures next to it, it made it really look
it's just a presence, like you said, isn't it? Like I said, you don't have to have that with it. Assault on Castle Grayskull comes with just like the pieces you can just put on there, which is flat for the like James saying, you can add to the modular of it, but I just don't think you'd get the same effect as it would as like these guys are trying to defend Castle Grayskull with their lasers and whatnot as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the only reason I really want to mention it is because we are waxing lyrical about how good the sculpts are and all that kind of stuff. If you're going to back this and you decide, oh well, the model Grayskull's going to look exactly the same in the same style. It's not. No. Not in any way. But other than that, I love everything about it, to be honest. I think they're very, very well done. The quality is very good. Like I said, the biggest letdown for me is that board.
Definitely.
It reminds me more of like Dungeons & Dragons or Gladiator rather than Eternia. So I'm a bit disconnected from the theme already before I've even started playing the game. But positivity on this silver outline. We're about to talk about gameplay because that will really bring back that theme.
Absolutely, yeah.
So gameplay, and again, it's your game. Pros, cons. What do you like? What do you dislike?
Right.
What are the highlights?
So one of my favorites in this is balance of power in this game. It's an effect of that where the heroes or villains can spend power, which will have to be given to the controller. We haven't mentioned the controller yet, have we? So
not yet, no. Basically,
every scenario you have will be a certain amount of characters against another player, which is the controller.
Yeah.
Good or bad, again, depending on the scenario. Anytime you use power, it will go straight to the controller for them to use that power, and then after that, it gets discarded and people can reuse it. Yeah. I love that mechanic because it makes you not want to spend so much on your turn to give to the controller.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing in this game, is that one of the main things is the balance of power. But the thing that I really like about this is that you really have to talk about it as a team perspective on a scenario. For example, the tracker board.
Yep.
When you lay your cards down of your player turn. Mm-hmm. That's what I love about this, because you've mentioned earlier on, Jason, this is very Zombicide-esque with the the dashboards and scenarios and whatnot. But in Zombicide, I believe anyone can take a turn and go whatever. Whereas this one, you actually need to think about it and actually decide, who's going to go next and who's going to get 2 power, who's going to get 3 power. I need it because I need to do this, or can I take it because I want to do it? You and me on the last one, we really dug into it and right, I think I should go first, and I think James is going to do this and something's going to that. Yeah,
and depending on where you go will depend on how much power that character is.
Absolutely,
because it goes to a character, not to the team. No. So you can't then, it's not a shared pool of power.
Exactly.
The controller always goes first.
Yeah.
So it's you've got that extra plan of, okay, there's some serious action going on here. This guy is close to dying, so we kind of need him to go first. However, if in this instance, we'll say James is the controller, if James decides to go first to try and finish him off, we might have wasted our action putting him there. But
big advantage, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I really like that because, like you said, it's like the controller goes first, then the players, then the controller, then the players, then the activation order. Really matters.
Yeah,
and the higher it goes up, the more power is, isn't it?
And we're saying about putting these down; they are placed face down, so no one knows.
Yeah. So you like the team knows what order they're going in, but they don't know what order the controller's going to go in. The controller knows what order he's going in, but doesn't know what order the players are going to go in.
I love that. I think that's great.
I would say it does potentially bring in a negative for analysis paralysis because you could be sitting there going, I'm trying to work out every possible permutation of what order these cards are going to come out in. But I personally really like it.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. This sort of goes back to our episode last week, James, about overthinking and things like that. And I apologise up front for the last game we played. You know, I'm very...
But no, in all fairness, we thought we were going to lose, so we really thought about it. We actually really sat down and thought, that's why there's no way this lasts for 60 minutes.
I'm also fully aware, like in our co-op aspect there, towards the end, I was just sort of like, no, I'm going to work this out myself.
Yeah.
That was wrong of me. I should never have done that. But, you know, as James said, there was definitely an element of having to really think ahead as like, what's going to happen? What could happen? What could the controller do? What's his board looking like? Because that's a lot of power over there. Because I stupidly did all my big moves in the last round and gave him all my power.
Yep.
And now he's sitting over there looking like he's holding the sword of power.
Mm-hmm. Again, to echo what Ant said, I do like the balance of power mechanic. And it's also very thematic.
Yes.
Because it's all about, the power and how it's used. So it's like the fact that the players have to give the controller power when they use their special abilities, which in turn powers up the controller.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was managing to do some filthy stuff because I had quite a few actions.
Oh, yeah.
But I upgraded. It was just sort of like, oh, yeah, you don't get that power. But it's really powerful.
But that's only her that does that. If I did it, so it would go to James and stuff,
I like the fact that I wouldn't say, out of all the characters we've played, that there are characters that are a bit meh. Yeah.
Everyone's got something.
They're all really good in their own way.
Yeah. We joked last week about basically punching Orko repeatedly in the face.
Yep.
And how he was the punching bag. But it's just sort of like, but once he's powered up, he ain't no punching bag.
No.
He's you basically start slapping a boxer in the face.
Yeah,
I mean?
I like that as well, that there is a distinct difference between Orko on the controller board and Orko on the player team board.
Yes,
they are very different.
I was literally going to come to that. I actually love that fact that they're not the same on both ends because Tila's one of your favourites, isn't she? And like she was filthy as just a normal character, but when you had her as a controller, you have to admit she wasn't as powerful beforehand, but she could still do stuff. I mean,
she was still powerful, but I think it's because the controller gets all of those characters to control. I think they're a little bit more toned down than if you're just playing her as one character. Like, as a single player character.
Yeah.
Both Orko and Tila are absolutely filthy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the first scenario we ever did when I introduced this to you guys is that Orko was just stupidly overpowered for what the scenario gave you.
Yeah.
And that was to basically save Prince Adam and bring him back home. Simple, quick one to do, but then Orko could teleport 4 spaces and not be attacked or something, wasn't it?
And drag other people with him.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just like, that's stupid, but brilliant.
Yeah.
And it worked out so well for that specific scenario.
And Tila was just an absolute combat machine.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, mate. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
But that's the thing, is it's 2 very different types of character, because obviously the characters have a dual-sided card, and you play this side if you're the controller, this side if you're not. And I think that's actually a really, really good thing, because it shows that Cool Mini or Not have actually put that sort of effort in to balancing the characters, because...
balancing power, right?
Balance of power. But ultimately, if they had said, oh yeah, you can just use the same character, but then you, as a controller, you get all those extra powers and the balance of power of everything coming to you, it would have made it impossible to beat the controller. So there was obviously an element of, we need to balance the entire game here, and that's obviously what they come up with, and I think it works really well.
And
don't forget, you can have the strategic card, can't you, as a controller, which basically you have a massive board that would get you to do things like activate minions or refresh certain things and whatnot, and another massive advantage for the controller.
Yeah. So
Sorry, James.
There are lots of stuff there. I was just going to say, it's like we've been talking about characters, and for those who might be listening to this going, oh, I'm a little bit worried about this because you've mentioned that Orko's really powerful and Healer's really bad. Don't worry, He-Man and Skeletor are probably the two filthiest characters in the game.
I mean, I would agree. Yeah, they are incredibly powerful. But again, they are quite nicely balanced in the sense of, in their base form, without any upgrades, they are a bit glass cannon.
Yes. Yeah, and don't forget, we have to mention that each character has special abilities eventually. That every scenario there is a power tracker which will give you an ability.
Yeah.
Providing you up that, you might not get the teleportation of Orko or the OPP of Teela.
Yeah, and I would sort of go and sort of say this is one of the things I really like, actually, about the gameplay. As that goes up and you start unlocking these extra powers, you have these little cards. They're double-sided. You have to make a decision.
Yeah, and it has to stay like that, doesn't it?
Which side do you want? Because they are all great, but it's like, what is going to benefit this scenario, my team?
Absolutely.
What is going to benefit me the most? We talked about the very first game we played.
Yep.
I looked at the board and went, almost all the objectives are 4 or 6 spaces apart. I can teleport 4 and I can carry someone with me, which means I can do that 4, have them fall right next to me, then activate them next, and they're stood right next to the objective. We'll take that.
And that's the thing, you look at it going, can that actually happen? It's like, it's right there, you can, it is a thing you can do, yeah.
So, and that was because I sat and I read the cards. I was like, right, okay, well, in this scenario, this suits me better. However, other games we've played, like the one we played the other day, and you were playing Orko, I was like, that would have been totally useless. In that game. Whereas the other ability was perfect.
Yeah, but those ability cards are double-sided. You get when you get the point to tap them and put them down, you have to pick which side it goes down.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's like, again, more choice.
Yeah.
I've done a part where I've picked one and gone, right, is this going to benefit me now? And then we've gone to the player track and right, now it's not going to benefit me. Now I'm stuck with this thing now, isn't it?
But yeah, like you said, where I was playing the controller as the good guys in that last game we were playing, because it was Defend Castle Grayskull.
It was, yeah.
So it was the players were playing as the bad guys attacking. And that ability you had with Evil Lyn, where you could deny me power, that was really powerful.
I mean, to refer to that, is like the powers I have for that, I had the special power, which was I would ignore the shield values of Castle Grayskull.
Which was blind luck, because that's a scenario card, isn't it?
Which was, that was a scenario card, and that's what I happened to end up with. I was like, well, I know who my tank is. And then, of course, the first unlock I did was a powerful attack, which didn't give you the power. So I was like, okay, cool. So she's basically a stand in front of Castle Grayskull, chucking stuff at it, and having everyone else huddle around her, protecting her while she's doing it. But it's something I actually want to mention, because we're talking about all these different characters and all these different things. That's probably one of my biggest things that I would say I love about the game, because every character feels individual. Everyone feels like I'm playing that character. Not
a carbon copy of someone else.
And I don't look at He-Man's card and I don't look at Skeletor's card and go, well, they're basically the same with a minor difference. I feel like
they are.
This is He-Man and this is Skeletor.
Again, I know we said we were talking about base game. We weren't going to talk about expansions, but I also noticed that from looking at this, it's like one of them is obviously in this version, in the base version, it's He-Man and Skeletor on foot. I'm assuming then that one of the expansions, because we have played with them, is you get He-Man on Battle Cat and Skeletor on Panther. And they get really
they're pretty powerful. But I like that, because actually that was one of the upgrade cards, isn't it?
Yes.
You could flip them, and then that's when they become that, which is pretty cool. But like the individuality of the characters is a huge thumbs up for me, because there's so many games, and IP games are one of the worst for it. It was like chuck in content. Yeah, we haven't really thought how we can make this feel like this character. It doesn't matter. People want the character.
Yeah, they want the character. It's like, especially when it comes to heroes and villains, like the classic hero and villain combinations. But when you actually look at it, no, it's the same character with a skin, effectively.
Yeah.
It's like, whereas like you said, it's like, no, I actually feel like they've taken the time to learn this character and the abilities and what they can do.
It kind of feels like there's been some passion involved with the designers and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, the characters for me, big plus. The biggest plus of all, because everyone knows I can't really stand games like it, but it's not a legacy game, and it's not a campaign game. It's a scenario game. I can drop in and out of this as and when I want.
Yeah.
100%. 100 marks for that.
Was about to say that as well. It's like, I like it when it's like that, when it's just, we don't have to do this next week or something. It's
exactly.
Just drop and drop whenever we want.
We're sitting here talking about upgrading our characters. I know that I'm going to get those upgrades today in this game, not in 6 weeks.
Yeah, but I've always felt games like this, it's like it could easily become a campaign game.
Yes.
And that would be a really good expansion.
Yeah.
But design the base game as a scenario game.
Yeah.
So that if you want a campaign mode, it can be bolted on afterwards.
I mean, I bet if we sat and read all of them scenarios, we could write a story.
Well, 100%.
To link them all together. But the whole point is, every game you start at the start, everyone's equal, you build up. I love it.
It's not just that. If you wanted to make it a proper campaign, though, it's like it's not just linking the stories together. You need the upgrade paths and everything that goes with it. And it's like that is something that the studio could do, but don't design that as the base game. Do it as a bolt on.
Yeah. Just a nice little expansion would have done it if that was something you desired, isn't it?
Yeah,
exactly.
And it would. This, to be fair, because I'm not usually a fan of campaign games, this would probably be one I would like to play as a campaign game.
Yeah, most definitely.
I mean, we've already said that we all want to continue playing this fairly regularly.
Oh, 100%.
Not every week, but, once every couple of months or something like that, we knock out a scenario. I will say, though, on the scenario front, that I have a little bit of a niggle with it, because we've played 3 or 4 scenarios now.
We've done 1 to start. We've done 2 the second time, and obviously the third was the expansion, wasn't it?
Exactly, yeah. The last one we played, slightly different to what I'm about to say, but still overall kind of feel that way. I felt like a lot of the scenarios were a bit samey.
Yeah.
Mainly because there was always an objective to achieve, but it felt like a bit of a standard skirmish game where the best path to victory is basically go out and batter someone.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to achieve the objective. Which was a bit of a shame, but at the same time I sit here like, is that because the board is a board game, not a war game, which I might be a bit more accustomed to? I mean, I'd love to see this as a skirmish war game. That would be amazing. But, looking past that, I felt like the scenarios were a bit samey. Yeah. What about you guys?
I mean, 100%. Like I said, we haven't done them all, but the ones we did were very samey. I think we had to, but the rule book wise was a bit of a niggle for me.
It's Call Me or not.
I know, it's standard, isn't it? Like the respawn part was a bit of an issue in one scenario. Then we had another scenario where push was an issue, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting to that.
We're going to get to that. Oh, sorry. We'll come to that in a second. But James, sorry.
I would agree with that. There are some points. I don't know if they've done one because I've not personally looked, but an FAQ might be in order for some of the mechanics.
I mean, I'm actually at the point where I think the FAQ for this rulebook would probably be longer than the rulebook.
Yeah.
So, but again, Call Me or Not, Kickstarter, it happens. This is pretty standard stuff now.
Yeah.
But I do agree.
I mean, because if I remember correctly, like the issues you brought up, I think there was actually a clarification somewhere about the respawn one, because it was
you looked up the respawn one, didn't you? Yeah.
Because the question with that one was, right, well, obviously you've got respawn points, and you respawn on the respawn point as you would expect, but what happens if somebody's standing on all the respawn points?
Yeah. Which is a very valid strategy.
And in fairness, when we looked it up, they had actually covered that one, which was obviously you move 1 hex to the left, right, wherever it is. You basically you can't block the respawn points by standing on them. Yeah. The push one, there wasn't a clarification for.
No. And it's again, I just think it's terminology really when it comes to that. I'm thinking literally when I think about push in a game, it is, here is where the attack is coming from. I am attacking you, and the effect is push, which means you are pushed away, not pulled towards me or slid to the side.
Yep.
I'm pushing you away from me, but no, that's seemingly not.
But then we had issues with a certain scenario where push was going to put us into an abyss and stuff like that. Did
Exactly.
that count? And again, it wasn't answered, but, you know, again, it's the niggles, isn't it? It's,
Yeah, exactly. Tiny little niggles, clarifications and all that kind of stuff.
I do believe that was the scenario where he was the controller, so he's getting a bit irate about it.
It was. It was.
You can't do that. You can't push me in there.
It didn't like the fact that we kept pushing his minions off the cliffs.
Until we meet again.
I'll get you, He-Man.
I should have called you Wimplash.
The sea never forgets.
Man never forgets. Neither does the sea.
Oh, dear.
I always say that when I play Merman.
Perfect example there, though, as to why I think we ultimately love the game.
Yeah.
It does it bring back the nostalgia for you? That's because, let's be honest, in a game like this, nostalgia is everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why people primarily play it, isn't it? At the end of the day, like I mentioned earlier on the character cards, I think it is straight out of the actual 80s. Cartoon show. I mean, or possible comic books that came out back in the day. They haven't tried to like redo their own artwork or anything like that. They've stuck to the OG original, haven't they? At the end of the day. But now that you've mentioned it, I keep looking at He-Man's furry pants now.
Well, there you go. My evening is a success.
Now you can sleep at night.
So I've got a few other comments I want to talk about with regards to the game. I don't know how you guys feel about this because I know I haven't actually talked to you about this. But one of the issues I did have was downtime within the game. Now, the turns seem to go quite quickly. The problem where the downtime comes in for me is actually in the latter half of the game, especially when it comes to the controller, because the controller has that big board of stuff, and by that point, there's lots of power going around. There's a lot more stuff that they can do, and it's just sort of like, we're only doing 2 actions, which is great, but then
he's doing 15.
All of those other things aren't actual actions. So I was like, he's done his 2 actions, and now here we go. I'm going to put the kettle on.
I see.
Yeah.
I found that there was a counter to that as the controller, and I don't know if you found it or you found it when you were playing as a controller. It's because it is an all versus one. When I was because I don't have a team to discuss with. It's like, right, I've worked out what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that, and that. And the rest, the other 2 guys are still huddled up talking strategy.
Yeah.
That's where I found controllers downtime came in. It's like, I've done that and I've popped out for a cigarette, come back in, and you 2 are still talking strategy sort of thing because you're a team, you need to all work out what you're doing. It's like there's quite a lot of downtime for the controller before the start of the round.
Yeah.
You could say it's a good balance.
It's a balance.
It's far too much balance in this.
Yes,
There's way too many balances of power in this game.
But yeah, I mean, I do understand that 100%. I would agree. And as someone who doesn't smoke, when I played as a controller, it was just sort of like, sitting around waiting, still waiting.
Yeah.
It's over-exaggeration. It wasn't that bad. But
No, yeah.
As someone who wouldn't get up and go out, for example. But again, James is right. There's a lot of discussions to be had here, which has another negative effect in the sense, but this is not one aimed at the game. This is just the genre in general. The whole 1 versus all thing, when the opponent is sat 2 foot away from me.
Yeah, I kind of...
How the hell am I supposed to talk tactics?
Yeah.
Without saying, dude, bugger off, will you?
Yeah.
It just happens. And one of my other games I really enjoyed this year was Beast. Hidden movement game. Well, we need to discuss tactics. Well, yeah, but he's also...
But now we've got to leave the room to sort it out.
He's planning his turn. So I don't really want to talk tactics here because he'll then change his turn. And that's just a flaw of the whole 1v all type deal. And even co-op games or team versus team.
Yeah.
You can't really talk tactics when the opponent is there.
Board games and war games in general suffer from that problem because it's like, I mean, all right, it's a little different for me because I have a reason to go outside and leave the room, but not everyone does.
Yeah.
But the whole part with the controller isn't every turn the controller has. Like when they flip that strategy card, again, it's all about their controller board and what they do with their minions and stuff.
Yeah.
They don't have to do that every time.
No.
They could just go, right, he's moving here, he's moving there, done.
Yeah.
It's only up until the part where they really want to start, all right, now I'm going to use this power to bring back more minions.
I mean, this was just something I found as the controller. I was wanting to burn through all that power every turn because I'm just gaining it. Because you guys are hitting me or using your power. And it's like, well...
And that's the problem, because you've only got so many slots to fill up, haven't you? Yeah.
You know, especially, again, that's why I say latter game when everyone's like, I'm fully built up, I am full-blown He-Man instead of Prince Adam. Every attack I'm doing is costing me 3-4 power. It's like, well, that basically fills this. And by the time it gets to this character, you've done that three times. So if once it's full. You can't overspill it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I might as well burn it. At which point it's like, every turn I'm going to be doing this, which means my turn's going to be 5 minutes, whereas yours is going to be a minute. Because, again, simplicity of this game, fantastic. It's 2 actions. 1 action to move, another action to move again, or attack,
or attack twice, or whatever.
You know, it's 2 actions. It's simple. It's easy.
Limited as well.
But and very, very limited. And I like that. If you don't... If you ignore all the complexities that come later in the game, it's a very, very basic game at its heart, which is great. At first, I wasn't a huge fan of the whole balance of power mechanic. I must be honest.
Yeah.
However, I've come around to that a bit more because I do think it is technically balanced. But I will say, when I was playing as the controller, I felt very overpowered. In that game. The only thing that you guys were able to do to me that I wasn't basically able to stop was coming from that whole push mechanic, where you were pushing me into the abyss, and it's like, well, yeah. And then I think I had I think I was playing as Merman, from what I remember.
Probably, I think you were like Skeletor and whatnot.
And I had like the pond tokens, which could be placed anywhere, and I could jump onto those spaces, but no one else. Where does it say that I can't put that on top of one of the abyss spaces? You know, logic says no, you can't.
Rulebook doesn't.
The rulebook doesn't.
No.
And if it's going to stop me from dying, then surely that's something I should be able to do. But you know, potatoes. I think it's a really good game. To be honest,
I mean, like you said, you may have the controller feel very OP at times, but like James mentioned earlier on about the characters are not as powerful as they are, so you will need that power to boost their stuff and whatnot. So again, it depends on the scenario, the characters you have and whatnot. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from, most definitely.
Do you have any particular negatives that you've found with the gameplay itself, or
no? Like I said, apart from the rules we've come and crossed on certain scenarios and whatnot, we've all had a learning curve with this as well as myself. Even though it's my game, we still have trouble with certain parts. Like, well, I've done this ability tells me I can do this, but can it go so far as to like, this is what I can actually do on this scenario, not the scenario we've just played, sort of thing. So apart from the back and forth on the specific rules, no, I don't really think I can find anything wrong with it personally. But
James, have you got anything?
No, I mean, aside from the, like, as we've mentioned copious times, the potentials for downtime and analysis paralysis, I think that's just a symptom of this kind of game.
Yeah.
I can't see any negatives with it. I really like it.
Okay, that's good.
I like the fact we've all had a chance as a controller.
Yes.
And I don't know if Jason was going to bring up, but which did you prefer?
Personally, I think I preferred being the players. I would definitely say the controller's got a steeper learning curve.
Yeah. As to play for my play style, I definitely liked being the controller.
Yeah.
Again, referring back to what we were talking about last week, it gives me that chance to sit there and really overthink what I can do, what are my possibilities, and I get enjoyment from that without annoying everyone else.
Yeah.
So for me, it's controller. What about you?
I'm going to cheat and say both, because there are times where, like the last scenario we did with James as a controller, I really want to give that a go as a controller, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because now that we know the meat and bone of that actual scenario,
you know,
James had the disadvantage because, again, we were learning what we can and can't do on that actual scenario. So if he played it again, he probably would whoop our ass, in all fairness.
Yeah.
But I think it's
I'd have now that we know how that scenario works, I'd have a completely different strategy.
Yeah.
It's like, because unfortunately it all clicked about halfway through the game. It's like, okay, so I've made some grievous errors and I can see them now.
Yeah.
And the fact that that's...
But next time...
And exactly, that scenario can go both ways. So could you imagine the bad guys defending Castle Grayskull with like ranged attacks and stuff? Like, you're dead in seconds, mate. So
that's to me though, that's one of the most unique things about this game. Is like there are so many 1v all games out there, but how many of them are actually able to completely, turn the tides and go, you can use anyone.
Yeah.
Certain scenarios, as you said, will say, no, you need to use this team. But the majority of them, from what I say, is like,
both sides.
Just use whoever you like.
Yeah. Either side can be the attacker or the defender.
And you must sit and think, it's like the mathematics that have gone into that. To be able to do that, like in the design process, is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal.
And the other reason why I said both, like I said, certain scenarios as a controller, but as the player side of it, I just love that whole, when you talk to your other team member and like, right, what are we going to do? Who's going to go next? Yeah. Right? Who's going to have this power? How are you going to upgrade this one? I love that whole come together and try, right, let's actually try and take down this controller. Yeah. How are we going to do it?
Yep.
How that game does that with this is another reason why played as a players is friggin' awesome as well.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that one. Completely agree. I want to talk about one more thing with regards to gameplay and the box and the atrocious statement of 60 minutes.
No chance. That's how long it takes just to put the character cards down.
I mean, where on earth they've got the gameplay time for this, I don't know. Do not get me wrong. I think on a couple of the scenarios we've played, yeah, I'd agree with that.
Especially that last one, definitely.
But other ones where it's like, I mean, I think one of the games we played was nearly 3 hours. I mean, we were messing about, granted, so we could have shaved off maybe an hour.
I think learning it is going to be longer, but if we go back to those scenarios, they will definitely be within that time frame. Especially if you've got Orko teleporting people around.
Well, yeah. But like just to sort of sit there and sort of think, it's a game night. We're looking at the shelf. Oh, that game's only an hour. It's not. No, it's. No. I mean, we joke all the time, don't we? It's like, oh, take the board game box's estimated playtime with a pinch of salt. Add on at least half an hour for that.
Yeah.
No, with this, you need to add on at least an hour. Plus setup time.
I don't think any scenario game is an hour. Let's put it that way. Even Zombie Side, the easiest difficulty isn't an hour at the end of the day.
So yeah, the hour to 90 minutes. I'm sorry, but
90 minutes just to set up.
Severely disagree with that. But that is that just me?
No. Like you said, if we went back and did a couple of those scenarios that we've already done and we know how they work, maybe do it in an hour.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Not sure. Just out of curiosity, because remind me, what are the base characters in the game?
The base character, the 6 heroes.
The 6 heroes. Yeah.
So the 6 heroes are He-Man, Man-at-Arms, Ram-Man, Orko, Stratos, and Tila, and the 6 villains are Skeletor, Merman, Beastman, Triclops, Evil Lyn, and Trapjaw.
So you're getting the ones that we all know, from the thing, yeah, that's not too bad. I mean, down marks for not including King Hiss. Let's be honest, King Hiss is awesome.
He's in another box.
But yeah, no King Hiss. That's a bit of a shame, but whatever. It's a pretty good selection of characters, some nice miniatures, lots of stuff.
And there's way more stuff if you ever buy the expansions and stuff on top of that.
I mean, this was a proper Cool Mini or Not campaign, wasn't it? Where it was just sort of like, it turned up in,
They went all out for this, mate. I mean, just like you said, that Grayskull we mentioned earlier, there's no need for it. It doesn't do anything apart from it's just there,
Yeah, exactly.
But people will get it because it's Grayskull, for crying out loud.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, final thoughts for this game, Ant.
Oh, apart from being biased, I love it, man. I'm really glad you guys liked it because I think the first time we played it, because of the scenario and the OP Orko, I was like, oh, these guys are going to like this one, not. But
we were playing as the OP characters, so of course we loved it.
Exactly. No, you came back to it, you loved it even more, and then when we did that, even that you cannot deny that last expansion we did with Grayskull was friggin' epic, man. I totally enjoyed myself on that.
All three of us on our feet as Jason did that last roll, and it was a typical Jason roll of what? He needed 2 hits from 6 dice and only got them on the last 2 dice.
And do you remember that Triclops one I had as well?
Yeah.
I was like, just throw it to the dice tower. Yes, like 7 hits in one. Yeah. Just like, oh my God, man.
Let's be honest, that's because we got on and banged on about how OP Taylor was, and you just obliterated her.
For once.
Because you saw her running towards you, and you just went, no.
But no, yeah, again, a big nostalgia bait for me. I'm glad the game turned out not as difficult as Fields of Eternia, because that is a different ball game all in all today. And yeah, I just really enjoy, man. It's He-Man. Come on, it's just amazing. And you know, it's not one of those ones where you have to have, you know, from specific designers and whatnot. It's just an awesome game, full stop. You know, and I'm just glad you guys really enjoyed it at the end of the day.
Good. So with the new campaign coming, and our lovely listeners in Europe now able to get it come January.
Yes.
Is this a game that you think is recommended? And if so, do you think it's one that they should be really preparing to go all in on? Or do you think it's base game only is fine?
I would say base game only if you're not familiar with it. There's no point in splashing it all out, because you might get people that don't like scenario games at the end of the day.
Yep.
And there are fair people out there that don't like scenario games.
Yes.
It's one of those ones where it's like Marmite. You love it or hate it. So buy the base game just to try it, and then I'm sure they'll come to retail at some point after that. If they're going to be shipped worldwide at one point, you'll be able to get them somehow at the end of the day.
So, yeah.
And like James has also mentioned, there's an entirely separate booklet with scenarios. I believe there's like 12 to 15 in there.
Yeah.
And some of them are solo as well. So even if you don't want friends playing it, just play it with yourselves. There is no excuse not to try it out at least and just have absolute fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't comment on the price for it because I obviously I don't own this game. I don't know what they're going to be charging for it.
Yeah.
But I would say Call Me or Not's pricing is always pretty good if you're getting the base game only.
Yeah.
It's only when you start going on the all-in that the prices just go astronomical. I would definitely say that at least one person in the game group could own this, so it's not a game... Like, for example, am I going to buy this game? No. Mainly because you've got it.
Yeah.
I don't need to own this game. This is not going to be a game I think I'm going to take along to a game club without you. Because I think this game speaks to our game group.
Yeah.
We have lots of fun with these games. We're I mean, we've been doing it throughout this episode.
Yep.
You know, doing the voices, acting as if we are actually the characters.
Exactly.
And, you know, doing stupid things.
And we do that whilst playing, by the way, guys. Not just for the episode.
Yeah, we are crazy.
That's just a typical game night with us, though.
It really is. But yeah, I mean, for me, do I recommend the game? Yes, I do. You definitely want to play it. Especially with it coming to Europe. I'm really happy that it's coming here. I'm interested to see where that means, where it stands with Archon, because they obviously had exclusivity in Europe.
I'm just surprised, and I'm very glad that they've just decided to go, do you know what, let everyone else in the world try it. Yeah. Because they are missing out and not letting other players get to do it. Like, the fact that I had to spend quite a bit, not just on the game itself, the import tax on it just to get it over here was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But the fact that anyone else can start ordering it from next month is just a good opportunity now, and hopefully it will come to retail not long after.
Yeah, and I hope it works both ways as well, because I know a lot of the Americans wanted the Fields of Eternia game, but obviously they couldn't get it. I really hope that this will go both ways.
And give them a chance,
so that they get the chance to do that one as well. But yeah, I mean, for me, the game really does scream its theme. You know, eccentric 80s.
Yeah.
You know, craziness of Eternia.
Just the front cover it just shows 80s, doesn't it? Straight away. Beautiful. It's just...
Yeah, exactly. James, final thoughts on the game?
Play it. If you see someone who's got it, play it.
Short and sweet.
I like it.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I like it a lot.
Question now. One final question for you guys. Favorite character in the game?
Well, good and bad?
You can have one from good, one from bad.
I'll take Triclops as the bad.
Okay.
Because one of his abilities can shoot from anywhere, which is filth.
That's a brutal.
And Ram Man because of his pushes mechanic.
Which
James.
I don't agree with that one.
I can't actually fully answer this question because it's just occurred to me all 3 scenarios we've played, I've always played the heroes. So I've not actually played the villains, any of the villain characters yet.
Something to do for next time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I definitely have to play with the villain characters. From what
Well, I mean, you've been beaten enough by them.
from once. From what I've seen, I would have to lean towards Evil Lyn for the evil side because she seems a bit dirty.
Yeah.
I would have to probably go Teela because she's just such a machine.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm going to stick with Magic on this one. I'm actually going to go Orko.
I'm surprised by that.
And Evelyn.
Yep. I'm not surprised.
No one's picked He-Man or Skeletor. I love that.
He-Man and Skeletor are what you expect them to be, though. They are.
Yeah.
Like, I say Teela's a combat machine. It's like, yes, He-Man fully powered up is wiping characters out in one swing. But as Jason said, he's glass cannon.
Yeah.
For that balance aspect, because otherwise it would turn into the He-Man Skeletor and everyone else is largely unimportant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think they've done a very good job of that. And let's be honest, when people are choosing characters, everyone's going to go He-Man and Skeletor, at least for the first couple of games.
Yeah.
But I think the specialness in this game comes with those support characters.
That's what, again, the scenarios, like the very first one we did, where it was rescue Prince Adam, aka you weren't allowed to pick He-Man.
Yeah. Was that actually an official rule that you weren't allowed to be He-Man?
Yeah, and it's like the Assault on Castle Grayskull where we had to play as 4 players. We couldn't just be the 2. Yeah. So there are certain rules, special rules for specific
because Prince Adam was the objective.
Yeah.
So you had to go save him.
He-Man could not be a played character.
Yeah. Again, it's great. And that was good fun.
Nice little hidden little mechanic there.
Yeah. Yeah. Very nice. So, new campaign coming, I think it's Game Found in January.
I don't know when in January, but it is in January.
Yeah, we know it's January. New series coming to Netflix in January.
Good timing, eh?
Do you know what? Now I think about it, didn't they release this game on Game or Kickstarter or Game Found when Revelations came out?
Quite possibly.
I think it was about the same time because that's when we got the Fields of Eternia one. It's when Clash for Eternia came out.
And I'm not being funny, but if I watched that show and knew this game was coming out, I would have backed it as well. Yeah. So it makes sense. It's a good marketing
wish
scheme.
I had, and I was going to back this one, but obviously the whole wouldn't ship it to Europe.
Yeah.
I couldn't be bothered with the whole forwarding postage and all of that guff. But I'm glad you got it. I'm glad we got to play it.
And I'm glad you played it and enjoyed it, guys. Thank you.
Cannot wait to play it some more. So, that is Masters of the Universe, the board game Clash for Eternia. The mouthful that is that name.
Just Clash for Eternia is fine.
Just Clash for Eternia. It works. I think we're all happy with it. I think we've all had a good time. We've all enjoyed talking about it. We've all enjoyed doing many, many impressions that are undoubtedly terrible.
Indeed.
But
Indeed.
The best insults in the world have always come from Skeletor.
Oh, yeah.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. 80s at its best, baby. But yes, what are your guys' thoughts on Clash for Eternia? Let us know on any of our social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, Discord, all of that jazz. It's all in our podcast descriptions. We're going to head off. We're going to play some games. Anthony, thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you for having me for one last time in 2023, sir.
Oh, can we squeeze another? I don't think we can squeeze another one in, can
I hope
we?
you can get me in a few for 24 at least.
I'm sure we will. But before we go, I always do that wonderful thing where you get to do the radio voice.
The radio voice.
Are you ready?
I wasn't, but let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hi guys, my name's Anthony and I host the MTVB podcast, the podcast where we talk about my 4 favorite subjects. That's movies, TV shows, video games, and of course, board games. Every episode we talk about one of those 4 topics and we do a top 5 on them. At time of recording, we're coming to the end of season 7 with our 100th episode. If you enjoy any of those topics, please give us a listen on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts. We're there. We're available. Every listen counts. Thank you guys.
Excellent stuff. And it's a great show. Although this season has been a bit of a
meh.
It's been a bit meh because I haven't been on it.
That's true, yeah.
However,
but you will be on it soon, though.
However, if you tune into that over the next coming weeks, you might hear my dulcet tones.
So you got me in for one last episode for 2023. I've got you in for one last episode.
I didn't manage to miss the season, which is good. So yes, I will be there.
It's a very good subject for Jason because I'll be interested to know that top 5 for that specific subject.
Yes, we're not going to tell you what it is though, mainly because I can't.
Because you have to listen and find out, guys. Remember that MTVB.
MTVB podcast. If I remember, I will put that in the podcast description as well. But it's me, so I probably won't. James,
Me.
would you like to say something else before we disappear?
No.
Oh, cool. Bye. On that note, we will love you and leave you. Because till next week, I have been Jason.
And I've been James.
And I have the power.
I have the power.
Until we meet again, everyone. I'm Ant.
You have been listening to the Meeple Minded podcast. Join us next week for more tabletop gaming goodness. Ta-ta and goodbye.